Hello and welcome. It is good to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. The next part of your day can be quiet. You do not need to study hard. You do not need to remember every sentence. You do not need to make notes. You can simply listen. If a sentence passes by and you do not understand every word, that is okay. The sentence can come back later. A familiar word may appear again. Then it may appear in a different sentence. Then it may become part of a small moment in a story. That is how we will spend this time together. Today, we are going to follow Emma through a visit to a hair salon. Emma needs a haircut. Her hair has grown longer than she expected. The ends look dry. Her bangs have become a little too long. She does not want a completely different hairstyle. She wants something simple. She wants the ends trimmed. She wants the length to stay almost the same. She wants her bangs to look neat. And she wants to explain her wishes clearly. The English in this lesson is simple. The sentences are calm. Some useful words will return many times. Salon, hairdresser, appointment, haircut, hair, ends, bangs, length, trim, wash, shampoo, scissors, mirror, style, blow dry, price, payment, receipt, tip. These words will not always appear in the same sentence. They will move through different moments. They will become connected to actions. An appointment belongs to the beginning of the visit. A mirror belongs to the haircut. A receipt belongs to the end. A small correction may belong to the next day. This kind of repetition is gentle. You do not have to force yourself to remember. Just let the words come and go. Sometimes you may understand the whole sentence. Sometimes you may notice only one familiar word. That is fine. A familiar word can be a small anchor. When your attention moves away for a moment, another familiar word may bring you back. There is no need to hurry. English can be learned slowly. It can become familiar little by little. So let us begin. Emma needs a haircut. The morning is quiet. Emma stands in front of the bathroom mirror. She looks at her hair. It has become a little longer. The ends do not look as fresh as they did a few weeks ago. Emma touches the ends with her fingers. She looks at her bangs. They are beginning to fall into her eyes. She moves them to the side. Then they fall forward again. Emma smiles. She thinks, it is time for a haircut. She does not want a big change. She wants to keep her hair long. She only wants the ends trimmed. She wants her bangs a little shorter. She also wants the final style to look natural. Emma has been to a salon near her home before. It is a small salon on a quiet street. The salon has large windows. There are several mirrors inside. There are comfortable chairs in front of the mirrors. There is a reception desk near the entrance. Emma remembers the place. She remembers the friendly hairdresser. She remembers the sound of the hairdryer. She remembers sitting in the chair and looking at herself in the mirror. This time, she wants to make an appointment. Emma takes her phone. She finds the salon's number. Before calling, she thinks about what she wants to say. She does not need a long explanation. She only needs a simple beginning. She takes a slow breath. Then she calls the salon. A receptionist answers the phone. The receptionist says, "Good morning. How can I help you?" Emma answers slowly. "Good morning. I would like to make an appointment for a haircut." The receptionist understands. She asks, "Of course. What day would you like to come?" Emma looks at her calendar. Thursday is convenient. She says, "Thursday afternoon would be good for me." The receptionist checks the schedule. She answers, "We have an opening at 2:30. Emma repeats the time slowly. Thursday at 2:30. She wants to make sure she heard it correctly. The receptionist says, "Yes, 2:30. Emma says, "That works for me. Thank you." The receptionist asks for her name. Emma gives her name clearly. The receptionist repeats the name. Emma listens carefully. Then the receptionist says, "Your appointment is Thursday at 2:30. Emma answers, "Yes, thank you." The call ends. Emma puts her phone down. She opens her calendar. She sees the appointment. Thursday, 2:30. Haircut. She smiles. The first step is finished. Emma does not need to think about the whole visit yet. She only needs to remember the appointment. An appointment is a planned time to meet someone or receive a service. In this situation, Emma has an appointment at the salon. She has an appointment on Thursday. The word is simple. Appointment. Emma looks at the word in her calendar. Then she puts the phone away. Later that evening, Emma thinks about her haircut. She wants to explain her hairstyle clearly. She does not know every English word related to hair. That is not a problem. She can use simple words. She can also show a picture. Emma opens her phone. She looks through some photos. She finds a picture of a hairstyle she likes. The hair is long. The ends look neat. The bangs are soft. The style looks natural. Emma knows the picture is not exactly what she wants. She does not want to copy everything in the picture. She only likes the general shape. She saves the picture. Then she thinks about 3 things. Keep the length. Trim the ends. Make the bangs a little shorter. That is enough. Emma writes a small note on her phone. Please keep the length. Please trim the ends. Please be careful with the bangs. She reads the sentences once. They are short. They are clear. She does not need complicated English. The next morning, Emma gets ready for work. She looks in the mirror again. Her hair still looks the same. But now she knows that tomorrow she will have her appointment. She does not need to worry. She has a plan. Thursday afternoon arrives. Emma finishes her work a little early. She checks the time. It is 2:15. Her appointment is at 2:30. She leaves home. The salon is only a short walk away. Emma walks slowly. She arrives 5 minutes early. She looks through the window. She can see the mirrors and chairs. A hairdryer is making a quiet sound. Someone is sitting in a chair. A hairdresser is working carefully. Emma opens the door. A small bell rings. The receptionist looks up and smiles. Hello, how can I help you? Emma says, hello. I have an appointment at 2:30. The receptionist checks the schedule. What is your name? Emma gives her name. The receptionist finds the appointment. Yes, I have you here. Emma smiles. Thank you. The receptionist asks Emma to take a seat for a moment. Emma sits down. She looks around the salon. There are bottles of shampoo on a shelf. There are brushes and combs near the mirrors. There are clean towels. There are several pairs of scissors. The salon is bright. It smells clean. Emma feels comfortable. A few minutes later, the hairdresser comes over. She smiles and introduces herself. Hello, I'm Sarah. I'll be taking care of your hair today. Emma smiles. Nice to meet you. Sarah points toward the chair. Please have a seat. Emma sits in front of the large mirror. Sarah stands behind her. She looks at Emma's hair. Then she asks, what would you like today? Emma takes out her phone. She shows the picture. She says, something like this, please. Sarah looks at the picture. Emma continues, I would like to keep the length. Sarah nods. Okay, you want to keep most of the length. Emma says, yes. Then she points toward the ends. I would just like the ends trimmed. Sarah touches the ends gently. She looks at them. The ends are a little dry, she says. Emma nods. Sarah asks, how much would you like me to take off? Emma thinks for a moment. She does not want too much cut. She says, not too much, please. Sarah asks, would 1 or 2 centimeters be okay? Emma wants to be sure. She asks, could you show me how much that is? Sarah holds a small section of hair. She shows Emma the amount. Emma looks carefully. That looks good, Sarah asks. Are you comfortable with that length? Emma answers, yes. Please don't cut it much shorter. Sarah says, of course. The plan is now clear. Only a small amount will be trimmed. The length will stay. Emma feels more relaxed. The word trim is useful here. To trim means to cut a small amount to make something neat. Emma wants to trim the ends. She does not want a dramatic haircut. She wants a small trim. The word ends is also useful. The ends are the parts at the bottom of the hair. Emma looks at the ends. Sarah looks at them too. They are talking about the same thing. Sarah asks about the bangs. And what would you like to do with your bangs? Emma looks in the mirror. My bangs are too long. She gently moves them away from her eyes. I would like them a little shorter, Sarah asks. How short? Emma answers, just enough so they don't fall into my eyes. Sarah nods. I can do that. Emma adds, please be careful. I don't want them too short. Sarah smiles. Of course. I'll take a little off first, and then we can check them. Emma says, that sounds good. This makes Emma feel safe. She does not have to decide everything at once. Sarah will cut a little. Then they can look in the mirror. Then they can decide if anything else is needed. This is a simple way to communicate. First, say what you want. Then check. Then make a small correction if necessary. Sarah asks, would you like layers? Emma is not completely sure what layers means. She does not want to guess. She asks, what do you mean by layers? Sarah explains. Some parts of the hair are cut a little shorter than others. It gives the hair more movement. Emma listens. She looks at the picture. She says, I would like very light layers. Sarah asks, nothing too strong? Emma answers, yes, nothing too strong. Sarah nods. Okay, very light layers. Emma now understands the plan. Keep the length. Trim the ends. Make the bangs a little shorter. Add very light layers. The consultation is finished. A consultation is a short conversation before a service. It helps the customer and the hairdresser understand what is wanted. Emma feels calmer. She did not use difficult English. She used simple sentences. She showed a picture. She asked when she did not understand. That was enough. Sarah says, we can wash your hair first. Emma follows her to the wash area. There is a comfortable chair beside a sink. Emma sits down. She leans her head back. Sarah turns on the water. She asks, is the water temperature okay? Emma answers, yes, it's comfortable. Sarah begins washing Emma's hair. Emma hears the water. She hears the soft sound of the sink. Sarah asks, is the pressure okay? Emma says, yes, thank you. Sarah uses shampoo. The word shampoo is common. It is the product used to wash the hair. Sarah gently massages Emma's scalp. Emma says, my scalp is a little sensitive. Sarah immediately becomes more gentle. Okay, I'll be careful. Emma says, thank you. The word scalp means the skin on the top of the head, underneath the hair. Emma does not need to explain it. She simply says, my scalp is sensitive. That short sentence gives important information. Sarah rinses the shampoo. Then she adds conditioner to the ends. She says, "I'm going to use a little conditioner on the ends." Emma answers, "Okay." The water runs through her hair. Then Sarah turns it off. She wraps a towel around Emma's hair. Emma sits up. Sarah gently dries the hair with the towel. Then Emma returns to the chair. Her hair is wet. She looks at herself in the mirror. Sarah combs the hair. She divides it into sections. The scissors are ready. Emma watches. Sarah takes a small section of hair. She shows it to Emma. "This is the amount I'm taking off." Emma looks at it. "Yes, that's fine." Sarah begins cutting. The scissors make a quiet sound. Small pieces of hair fall onto the cape. Emma watches in the mirror. The change is small. That is exactly what she wanted. Sarah cuts another section, then another. She works slowly. Emma does not need to talk all the time. She simply watches. She feels relaxed. After several minutes, Sarah stops. She asks, "How does that look?" Emma looks carefully. "It looks good," Sarah continues. She trims the ends around the back. Then she works on the sides. Emma looks at the mirror. The length is still almost the same. The ends look cleaner. The hair looks lighter. Sarah moves toward the bangs. Emma becomes more careful. Sarah holds the bangs. She asks, "Ready?" Emma says, "Yes." Sarah cuts a very small amount. Then she stops. She asks, "How does that look?" Emma looks in the mirror. The bangs no longer fall into her eyes. Emma says, "That looks good." Sarah asks, "Would you like them a little shorter?" Emma thinks, "No, I think that length is good." Sarah says, "Okay." She does not cut anymore. This is another useful part of a salon visit. Sometimes the best answer is simply, "That's good." Emma can see the result. She does not need to change it. Sarah continues with the light layers. She cuts carefully. She does not make a dramatic change. The hair still looks long, but it has a little more movement. Sarah steps back. She looks at the haircut. Then she says, "I think the shape is looking good." Emma smiles. "I like it." Now the haircut is almost finished. The next step is the blow dry. Sarah asks, "Would you like it straight, or would you like a little movement?" Emma looks at her picture again. "Something natural, please." Sarah says, "Okay, I'll keep it natural." The hairdryer starts. The sound is louder now. Emma cannot hear every word. Sarah speaks in short sentences. "Is the air too hot?" Emma shakes her head. "No, it's fine." Sarah continues. "Let me know if it gets too warm." Emma says, "Okay." The warm air moves through the hair. The ends begin to take shape. Sarah uses a round brush. She dries the hair section by section. Emma watches in the mirror. The hairstyle in the picture is not exactly the same, but it has the same feeling. Natural, simple, soft. Emma likes it. Sarah finishes the front. She turns off the hairdryer. The salon becomes quiet again. Sarah takes a hand mirror. She stands behind Emma. "Let me show you the back." Emma looks into the large mirror. Then she looks at the small hand mirror. She can see the back of her hair. The layers are light. The ends look neat. Emma says, "That looks really good." Sarah asks, "Would you like me to change anything?" Emma looks again. She checks the left side, then the right side. Everything looks balanced. She says, "No, I think it's perfect." Sarah smiles. "Great." Emma touches the ends. They feel lighter. She moves the bangs. They stay away from her eyes. She looks at herself again. She feels pleased. A mirror is useful during a haircut because it lets the customer see the result. A hand mirror can show the back. The front may look one way. The back may look different. Checking both sides can prevent a misunderstanding. Emma has one last question. How much is the haircut? Sarah gives her the price. Emma listens carefully. She repeats the amount silently. Then she goes to the reception desk. The receptionist tells her the total again. Emma takes out her card. I'll pay by card, please. The receptionist processes the payment. Then she asks, would you like a receipt? Emma says, yes, please. The receptionist gives her the receipt. Emma puts it in her bag. She decides to leave a small tip. She says, that's all right. Thank you. The receptionist smiles. Thank you very much. Sarah comes over. Enjoy your new haircut. Emma smiles. Thank you. I'm very happy with it. She puts on her jacket. She looks at herself one last time in the mirror near the door. Her hair looks fresh. The change is not dramatic. It is simple. It is exactly what she wanted. Emma says goodbye. Have a nice day. The receptionist answers, you too. Emma leaves the salon. Outside, the afternoon is quiet. She walks home. The appointment is finished. The haircut is finished. The payment is finished. But the words from the visit remain in her mind. Appointment. Salon. Hairdresser. Haircut. Ends. Bangs. Length. Trim. Shampoo. Scalp. Scissors. Mirror. Layers. Style. Blow dry. Price. Receipt. Tip. They are no longer just words. They belong to a real situation. The word appointment was connected to the phone call. The word salon was connected to the building. The word mirror was connected to the haircut. The word scissors was connected to the sound of cutting. The word receipt was connected to the end of the visit. This is how vocabulary becomes familiar. A word appears. Then it appears again. Then it belongs to a place. Then it belongs to an action. Then it becomes easier to recognize. Emma arrives home. She puts her bag down. She looks in the hallway mirror. She touches her hair. She smiles. The haircut still looks good. She remembers something else. The next morning, she notices that one small section of her bangs is sitting differently. It is not a big problem. The haircut is still good. But Emma wonders if she should ask the salon. She does not want to cut it herself. She decides to call. The next morning, Emma calls the salon. The receptionist answers. Emma says, "Good morning. I came in yesterday for a haircut." The receptionist says, "Yes. How can I help you?" Emma explains. "I have a small question about my bangs." The receptionist asks, "Is there a problem?" Emma says, "It's only a small section. I'm wondering if I could come by for a quick check." The receptionist checks the schedule. "Yes. You can come by this afternoon," Emma says. "Thank you. That would be great." Later that afternoon, Emma returns to the salon. Sarah looks at the bangs. She understands the problem immediately. She adjusts one small section. It takes only a few minutes. Sarah gives Emma the mirror. Emma looks. Now everything is even. Emma smiles. "That looks much better." "Thank you," Sarah says. "Of course." Emma realizes something important. Asking for a small correction is normal. She did not need to become upset. She did not need to explain for 5 minutes. She simply described the problem. A small question. A small correction. A simple solution. This is also part of everyday English. Sometimes everything is perfect the first time. Sometimes one small thing needs to change. Clear communication can make the situation easier. Now the visit is truly finished. Emma leaves the salon again. She feels comfortable. She thinks about the whole experience. At first, she was worried that she would not know the right English words. But she discovered that she did not need many difficult words. She needed a few useful ones. She needed to know how to make an appointment. She needed to explain the length. She needed to talk about the ends. She needed to describe the bangs. She needed to ask about layers. She needed to ask for a small correction. She needed to understand the price. And she needed to pay. That was enough. The important words can now return slowly. Salon. A salon is a place where people receive beauty and hair services. Emma walks into the salon. The salon is bright and quiet. Hairdresser. A hairdresser is a person who cuts and styles hair. Emma speaks with the hairdresser. Appointment. An appointment is a planned time for a service. Emma has an appointment at 2:30. Haircut. A haircut is the way hair is cut and shaped. Emma wants a simple haircut. Trim. To trim means to cut a small amount. Emma wants to trim the ends. Ends. The ends are the parts at the bottom of the hair. Emma wants the ends to look neat. Length. Length means how long something is. Emma wants to keep most of her hair length. Bangs. Bangs are the hair at the front of the head, above or around the forehead. Emma's bangs have become too long. Layers. Layers are different lengths of hair that create shape and movement. Emma wants very light layers. Shampoo. Shampoo is used to wash the hair. Sarah uses shampoo before cutting Emma's hair. Scalp. The scalp is the skin underneath the hair on the head. Emma's scalp is sensitive. Conditioner. Conditioner is used after shampoo to help make hair softer. Sarah puts conditioner on the ends. Scissors. Scissors are used to cut the hair. Emma hears the scissors as Sarah begins cutting. Mirror. A mirror lets Emma see her hair. She checks the front in the large mirror. Hand mirror. A hand mirror helps Emma see the back. Style. A style is the particular way hair looks. Emma wants a natural style. Blow dry. To blow dry means to dry the hair with a hairdryer. Sarah blow dries Emma's hair after cutting it. Price. The price is the amount of money something costs. Emma asks about the price before paying. Payment. Payment is the act of giving money for a service. Emma pays by card. Receipt. A receipt is a record of a payment. Emma asks for a receipt. Tip. A tip is extra money given to thank someone for good service. Emma leaves a small tip. Correction. A correction is a small change made to fix something. Emma asks for a small correction the next day. These words belong to one story. They are connected. They do not have to be memorized as a list. The appointment leads to the salon. The salon leads to the hairdresser. The hairdresser leads to the consultation. The consultation leads to the haircut. The haircut leads to the mirror. The mirror leads to the correction. The correction leads to the end of the visit. Now the story can continue through smaller moments. Emma calls the salon again. She needs another appointment several weeks later. This time, the phone call feels easier. The receptionist answers. Emma says, "Hello, I would like to make another appointment." The receptionist asks, "When would you like to come?" Emma checks her calendar. Friday afternoon would be good. The receptionist checks the schedule. There is an opening at 3. Emma says, "Friday at 3. Yes, that works." The receptionist asks, "Would you like the same service as last time?" Emma answers, "Yes. Just a trim and a small haircut." The receptionist confirms the appointment. Emma thanks her. This time, Emma does not feel nervous. She already knows the words. Appointment. Trim. Haircut. Friday. 3 o'clock. The conversation is simple. That is enough. Another day at the salon. Emma arrives. The receptionist greets her. "Hello, Emma. Nice to see you again." Emma smiles. "Nice to see you too." Sarah comes over. "How are you today?" Emma says, "I'm good, thank you." Sarah looks at her hair. "Would you like the same style?" Emma answers, "Almost the same. I would like to keep the length." Sarah nods. "And the bangs?" Emma says, "Just a little trim." Sarah says, "Okay." The conversation is familiar now. Emma does not need to think about every word. She listens. She answers. She looks in the mirror. The process feels natural. A little later, Sarah asks about the ends. "Would you like me to take a little more off?" Emma looks at the ends. She says, "Only a little, please." Sarah asks, "About 1 centimeter?" Emma says, "Yes, that sounds good." Sarah begins. The scissors move through the hair. Emma watches. She knows what is happening. She feels comfortable. After the trim, Sarah asks, "Does that look okay?" Emma looks in the mirror. "Yes, that looks good." The word okay is useful in many situations. It can mean that something is acceptable. It can mean that you agree. It can mean that you are comfortable with the plan. Emma says, "That's okay." Sarah continues, "The hair is washed. The shampoo is gentle. The water is warm." Emma says, "The temperature is perfect." Sarah smiles. After the wash, Emma returns to the chair. The towel is removed. Sarah combs the hair. The scissors are ready again. Everything is familiar. Now, another small conversation takes place. Sarah asks, "Would you like your hair styled today?" Emma thinks, "Yes, but just something simple." Sarah asks, "Straight?" Emma says, "Not completely straight. Something natural." Sarah understands. "Okay, natural and soft." Emma smiles. Yes, the hairdryer begins. The sound fills the salon. Emma looks into the mirror. The hair begins to dry. The ends look smooth. The bangs sit naturally. Sarah uses a brush. She works slowly. Finally, she turns off the dryer. The salon becomes quiet again. Sarah hands Emma the mirror. "Take a look." Emma checks the front, then the sides, then the back. "Everything looks good," she says. "I like it." Sarah says, "Great." Emma thanks her. Then she goes to the reception desk. The receptionist gives her the price. Emma pays by card. She asks for a receipt. The receptionist gives her one. Emma says thank you. Then she leaves. The visit is simple, but the language has returned again. Appointment, haircut, trim, length, bangs, wash, shampoo, mirror, style, blow dry, price, receipt. These words have now appeared in different moments. They have become familiar through repetition. Now there is another situation. Emma arrives at the salon, but she is 10 minutes late. The traffic was heavier than expected. She calls before arriving. The receptionist answers. Emma says, "Hello, I have an appointment at 3. The receptionist says, "Yes." Emma explains, "I'm running about 10 minutes late. Is that okay?" The receptionist checks the schedule. "Yes, please come when you can." Emma says, "Thank you. I'm sorry about that." The receptionist says, "No problem." Emma arrives. She apologizes again. The receptionist smiles. "It's fine." Emma sits down. A small problem was solved with a few simple sentences. She did not need a long explanation. She only needed to say that she was late. Another situation happens during the consultation. Sarah shows Emma a hairstyle. Emma likes the shape, but she thinks Sarah may be talking about cutting the hair much shorter. Emma points to the picture. She says, "I like the shape, but I want to keep the length." Sarah understands. "Oh, yes, we can keep the length." Emma says, "Good." The misunderstanding is finished. A picture helps. A short sentence helps. A clear boundary helps. Emma does not need advanced English. She only needs to communicate the important part. Another day, Sarah recommends a hair product. She holds up a bottle. "This can help with dry ends." Emma looks at it. She does not want to buy anything today. She says, "Could I write down the name?" "I'll think about it." Sarah says, "Of course." Emma takes a photo of the product. She thanks Sarah. There is no pressure. The conversation stays friendly. Another useful situation happens when Sarah uses a word Emma does not know. Sarah says something about a particular styling technique. Emma does not understand the word. She does not pretend to understand. She asks, "Could you explain that in simple words?" Sarah explains. The explanation is short. Emma understands. She says, "Okay, now I understand." This kind of sentence can be useful anywhere. A word can be unfamiliar. A sentence can be too fast. A person can use a technical word. A simple request for clarification can make the situation easier. The salon is also a place for small talk. While Sarah is cutting Emma's hair, she asks, "Did you have a good weekend?" Emma answers simply, "Yes, I stayed home and relaxed." Sarah asks, "Did you watch anything?" Emma says, "I watched a movie." Sarah smiles. "That sounds nice." Emma smiles too. The conversation does not need to continue for a long time. Small talk can be short. A simple answer is enough. Emma does not need to tell her whole weekend story. She can say 1 or 2 sentences. Then the haircut continues. Another small conversation happens before Emma leaves. The receptionist asks, "Would you like to make your next appointment now?" Emma thinks about it. "Not today. Thank you. I'll call later." The receptionist smiles. "Of course." Emma says goodbye. She leaves the salon. This is another useful sentence. "I'll call later." It is polite. It is clear. It does not require a long explanation. Several weeks later, Emma visits a different salon. Her usual salon is closed that day. She finds another salon nearby. She feels slightly nervous because everything is new. The new salon is larger. There are more people. There are more people. But the same basic words are still useful. Appointment. Haircut. Length. Ends. Bangs. Mirror. Price. Receipt. Emma speaks with the receptionist. "Hello. I would like to make an appointment for a haircut." The receptionist asks when she would like to come. Emma gives a day and time. The appointment is made. When Emma arrives, she sits in the chair. The new hairdresser asks what she wants. Emma takes out her phone. She shows the same kind of picture. She says, "Something like this, please." Then she adds, "But I want to keep the length." The hairdresser understands. The situation is new. The words are familiar. Emma realizes that the vocabulary belongs to the situation, not to one particular salon. The same words can be used again. Another misunderstanding happens. The hairdresser thinks Emma wants the hair much shorter. Emma notices. She says, "I mean the shape, not the length." The hairdresser stops. "Oh, I understand," Emma says. "I would like to keep it long." The hairdresser nods. "Okay, we'll keep the length." The problem disappears. Again, a small sentence solves a bigger misunderstanding. Emma sits back. She feels comfortable. The haircut continues. Later, Emma checks the mirror. The style looks good. She is happy. She goes to pay. The price is slightly higher than she expected. She asks, "Is the blow-dry included in the price?" The receptionist explains. Emma listens. Now she understands the total. She pays. She gets the receipt. She leaves. This is another useful part of everyday communication. When something is not clear, ask before making a decision. The question does not have to be complicated. Is that included? How much is it? Does that cost extra? These are simple questions. Emma continues learning through real situations. Now the evening is quiet again. Emma is at home. She thinks about the different salon visits. The first time, she was nervous. The second time, she was more comfortable. The third time, she handled a new salon. The words stayed mostly the same. The situations changed. That is useful. A word becomes stronger when it appears in more than one situation. Appointment at the old salon. Appointment at the new salon. Appointment on the phone. Appointment in the calendar. The same word. Different moments. Haircut before work. Haircut on Thursday. Haircut at a new salon. Again, the same word. Mirror in front. Hand mirror behind. Mirror during the haircut. Mirror at the end. Again, the same word. Receipt at the first salon. Receipt at the second salon. Receipt in Emma's bag. Again, the same word. This gentle repetition helps English become familiar. Now we can return to some simple conversations. Emma calls the salon. She says, "Hello. I'd like to make an appointment." The receptionist asks, "What day works for you?" Emma says, "Thursday afternoon." The receptionist says, "We have 2:30. Emma answers, 2:30 is perfect. The receptionist asks for her name. Emma gives it. The appointment is confirmed. Another conversation. Sarah asks, "What would you like today?" Emma says, "I'd like a trim." Sarah asks, "How much would you like to take off?" Emma says, "Only a little, please." Sarah asks, "Would you like to keep the length?" Emma says, "Yes. I want to keep most of the length." Another conversation. Sarah asks, "What about your bangs?" Emma says, "They are too long." Sarah asks, "Would you like them shorter?" Emma says, "A little shorter, but not too short." Sarah says, "Okay, I'll take a little off." Emma says, "Thank you." Another conversation. Sarah asks, "Is the water comfortable?" Emma says, "Yes." Sarah asks, "Is the shampoo okay?" Emma says, "Yes, thank you." Emma then says, "My scalp is a little sensitive." Sarah answers, "Okay, I'll be gentle." Another conversation. Sarah asks, "How does the length look?" Emma looks in the mirror. "It looks good." Sarah asks, "Would you like it shorter?" Emma says, "No, this length is good." Another conversation. Sarah asks, "Would you like a little styling?" Emma says, "Yes, but something natural." Sarah asks, "Straight or with a little movement?" Emma says, "A little movement, please." Another conversation. The receptionist says, "Your total is $40. Emma says, "Okay, I'll pay by card." The receptionist asks, "Would you like a receipt?" Emma says, "Yes, please." The receptionist gives her the receipt. Emma says, "Thank you." Another conversation. Emma returns the next day. She says, "Hello. I was here yesterday." The receptionist asks, "How can I help you?" Emma says, "I have a small question about my bangs." The receptionist says, "Of course." Emma explains. Sarah checks the bangs. She makes a small correction. Emma looks in the mirror. That looks much better. Sarah says, I'm glad. Emma says, "Thank you for helping me. The situation is finished." There was no argument. There was no complicated explanation. There was simply a question, an answer, and a small correction. Now some useful sentences can return naturally through the story. Emma wants an appointment. She says, "I'd like to make an appointment." Emma wants to keep her hair long. She says, "I'd like to keep the length." Emma wants only a small cut. She says, "Please take off only a little." Emma wants to see the amount. She says, "Could you show me how much that is?" Emma does not understand a word. She says, "What does that mean?" Emma wants the hairdresser to explain. She says, "Could you explain that in simple words?" Emma wants to check the haircut. She says, "Can I take a look in the mirror?" Emma wants to see the back. She says, "Could you show me the back?" Emma feels uncomfortable with the heat. She says, "It's a little too hot." Emma wants the hairdryer cooler. She says, "Could you make it a little cooler?" Emma likes the result. She says, "I really like it." Emma wants a small change. She says, "Could we make a small correction here?" Emma wants to ask about the price. She says, "How much is the haircut?" Emma wants to know if something costs extra. She says, "Is that included in the price?" Emma wants to pay by card. She says, "I'll pay by card, please." Emma wants a receipt. She says, "Could I have a receipt, please?" Emma wants to leave a tip. She says, "That's all right. Thank you." Emma wants to leave. She says, "Thank you. Have a nice day." These sentences are useful because they belong to real moments. They are not separate exercises. They are part of Emma's visit. Now the salon becomes quiet again. Emma is sitting in the chair. The hairdresser is preparing the scissors. The mirror is in front of Emma. The cape is around her shoulders. The salon smells like shampoo. A hairdryer is running somewhere in the background. The receptionist is speaking softly with another customer. Emma looks at her reflection. The hairdresser asks, "Are you ready?" Emma smiles. Yes. The haircut begins. A small section is combed. A small section is trimmed. The scissors move slowly. The ends fall onto the cape. Emma looks at the mirror. The length stays almost the same. She feels comfortable. The hairdresser moves to the other side. The same thing happens. A small section. A careful trim. A quick look in the mirror. Then the bangs. The hairdresser lifts them gently. She cuts a little. She stops. Emma looks. The bangs sit above her eyes. They look neat. Emma says, "That looks good." The hairdresser continues. Then the layers. Very light. Very soft. Nothing dramatic. The haircut is almost finished. The hair is washed. The hair is dried. The style is shaped. The mirror shows the final result. Emma smiles. She is happy. She has spent some time in the salon. She has listened to English. She has spoken simple English. She has asked questions. She has understood answers. She has made a decision. She has checked the result. She has paid. And she has left. The whole experience was made of small steps. One step at a time. One sentence at a time. One familiar word at a time. This is how a real conversation can feel. It does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be clear enough. Now the important vocabulary can return one more time through small pictures. Appointment. Emma looks at her calendar. Thursday, 2:30. The appointment is there. She knows when to go. Salon. Emma opens the door. She hears the small bell. She sees the mirrors. She knows she is in the right place. Hairdresser. Sarah comes over. She listens to Emma's wishes. She looks at the hair. She prepares the scissors. Haircut. Emma sits in the chair. The haircut begins. Ends. Sarah touches the ends. They are a little dry. Emma asks for a small trim. Length. Emma looks at the long hair. She wants to keep most of it. Bangs. Emma moves the bangs away from her eyes. They need a small trim. Layers. Sarah explains the layers. Emma chooses very light layers. Shampoo. The water runs. Sarah washes Emma's hair. Scalp. Emma explains that her scalp is sensitive. Sarah becomes more gentle. Scissors. The scissors make a soft sound. Small pieces of hair fall. Mirror. Emma watches the haircut. She checks the front. Hand mirror. Emma sees the back. Style. The final style looks natural. Blow dry. Warm air moves through the hair. Price. The receptionist tells Emma the total. Payment. Emma pays by card. Receipt. Emma puts the receipt in her bag. Tip. Emma leaves a small tip. Correction. The next day, one small part of the bangs is adjusted. These words have now been connected to many moments. The words do not need to stay on a vocabulary list. They can live inside a story, a salon, a chair, a mirror, a conversation, a haircut, a payment, a goodbye. Now Emma remembers the first time she called. She was worried. She thought she needed perfect English. But the receptionist understood. Then she remembers the consultation. She was not sure about layers. She asked what the word meant. The hairdresser explained. Then she understood. She remembers the haircut. She watched the mirror. She asked for a small change. The hairdresser listened. She remembers the payment. She asked for a receipt. She paid by card. She remembers the next day. She called about the bangs. The problem was small. The solution was small. Everything was calm. This is a useful pattern for everyday communication. Listen. Understand what you can. Ask when something is unclear. Give a simple answer. Check the information. Continue. There is no need to rush. Now another quiet salon scene. It is late afternoon. The salon is not busy. Emma sits near the window. The sunlight comes through the glass. Her hair is freshly cut. The mirror reflects the room. A brush is lying on the counter. A pair of scissors rests beside it. There are bottles of shampoo on a shelf. A clean towel is folded nearby. The hairdresser is cleaning the chair. The receptionist is organizing the appointments. Emma looks at her phone. Her appointment is complete. She puts the phone away. She looks at her hair again. It feels lighter. It looks neat. She is satisfied. The hairdresser asks, "Everything okay?" Emma smiles. "Yes, everything is good." The hairdresser says, "I'm glad." Emma thanks her. Then she stands. She takes her bag. She walks toward the reception desk. The receptionist smiles. Emma says goodbye. She opens the door. The small bell rings again. She steps outside. The salon becomes quieter behind her. Emma walks home. The evening is beginning. She does not think about grammar. She does not think about vocabulary. She simply remembers the day. The words are connected to the experience. Appointment, salon, haircut, trim, bangs, mirror, scissors, price, receipt, goodbye. The words have become familiar, and that is enough. Sometimes learning happens quietly. A word may not become active immediately. First, it becomes recognizable. Then it becomes familiar. Later, it may become easier to use. There is no need to force the process. A calm story can give the mind time. the same word can return. The same situation can return, but each time, the sentence can be slightly different. Emma has an appointment. Emma confirms her appointment. Emma arrives for her appointment. Emma finishes her appointment. The word stays the same. The situation changes. The word haircut appears. Emma wants a haircut. Emma explains her haircut. The hairdresser begins the haircut. The haircut is finished. Again, the word stays. The story moves. The word trim appears. Emma wants a trim. Sarah trims the ends. Emma checks the trim. Again, the word returns. The word mirror appears. Emma sits in front of the mirror. She checks the bangs in the mirror. She looks the back in the hand mirror. She looks one final time before leaving. Again, the word returns. This kind of gentle repetition can make language feel less strange. Now we can move through the salon one last time. The door opens. Emma walks inside. She has an appointment. The receptionist greets her. Emma gives her name. The appointment is found. Emma sits down. The hairdresser calls her. Emma sits in the chair. The mirror is in front of her. The hairdresser asks what she wants. Emma shows a picture. She explains the length. She explains the ends. She explains the bangs. She asks about layers. The hairdresser explains. Emma understands. The hair is washed. The shampoo is gentle. The scalp is comfortable. The hair is dried with a towel. The scissors are ready. The ends are trimmed. The length stays. The bangs are shortened carefully. The layers are light. The hair is blow-dried. The final style is checked. The hand mirror shows the back. Emma is happy. She goes to the reception desk. She hears the price. She pays by card. She gets a receipt. She leaves a tip. She says thank you. She leaves the salon. The next day, she asks for a small correction. The correction is made. Everything is finished. A simple salon visit. A complete everyday situation. And many useful English words. Now the story can become quieter. Emma is at home again. She is standing in front of her bedroom mirror. She moves her bangs to the side. They look good. She touches the ends. They feel soft. She smiles. The day is over. The salon is far behind her. But the English remains. Appointment. Salon. Hairdresser. Haircut. Ends. Bangs. Length. Trim. Layers. Shampoo. Scalp. Scissors. Mirror. Hand mirror. Style. Blow dry. Price. Payment. Receipt. Tip. Correction. These words have been heard many times. They have been connected to real actions. They have been connected to Emma's story. There is no need to hold them tightly. They can simply remain familiar. Emma turns away from the mirror. She puts her phone on the table. She gets ready for the evening. Everything is quiet. The day has been simple. The haircut is finished. The appointment is finished. The small correction is finished. There is nothing else to solve. Now the story comes to a gentle end. You have followed Emma from the first phone call to the final goodbye. You have heard how she made an appointment. You have heard how she explained her haircut. You have heard how she talked about the length. You have heard how she talked about the ends. You have heard how she explained her bangs. You have heard how she asked about layers. You have heard how she talked about her scalp. You have heard how she asked questions when something was unclear. You have heard how she checked the mirror. You have heard how she paid. You have heard how she asked for a receipt. And you have heard how she returned for a small correction. Maybe you do not remember every sentence. That is completely fine. Maybe you remember only a few words. Salon. Haircut. Appointment. Mirror. Bangs. Trim. That is fine too. Maybe one sentence feels familiar now. I'd like to keep the length. Maybe another one. Could you show me how much that is? Maybe another. Could you explain that in simple words? Or perhaps the simplest one. Thank you. A language grows through many small moments. A word today. A sentence tomorrow. A familiar situation later. There is no need to hurry. English can become more comfortable through calm exposure, through stories, through ordinary situations, through words that appear again and again. Emma did not need perfect English to get her haircut. She only needed enough English to communicate what mattered. She listened. She asked. She checked. She answered. She continued. That was enough. Now the salon is quiet. The chairs are empty. The mirrors are still. The scissors are resting on the counter. The towels are folded. The bottles of shampoo are in their place. The lights are soft. The day is ending. Emma's appointment is over. Her hair is neat. Her mind is calm. The words from the story can remain quietly in the background. Appointment. Salon. Hairdresser. Haircut. Trim. Ends. Bangs. Length. Layers. Shampoo. Scalp. Scissors. Mirror. Style. Blow dry. Price. Receipt. Tip. Correction. The words do not need to be forced. They can simply become familiar. The story is finished. The salon is closed for the evening. Emma is at home. The room is quiet. Everything is okay. The day is complete. For now, there is nothing else to do. The English can stay gentle. The words can stay simple. And the story can slowly fade into the background. Good night. Take care. And until next time.